This is a Russian accent. And before I start to talk, I'm going to talk about Tantra. And Tantra not only a path of sexuality, but Tantra is a path of transforming strong emotion. Not only sexuality. Sexuality and anger, hate, greed, all these demons which are scary. But before I start, I would ask your permission to do something I never did before. You know, I'm a practitioner, Buddhist practitioner, and also I lead seminars, and when I lead seminars, I pretend to be psychologist, and I always pray before seminars, but never in public. So I would try to do very small prayer, and it's mine. Yeah, thank you. This is a prayer to Azurchin Ma, Yellow Tara, the goddess, Buddhist goddess, Tibetan Buddhist, which helps adventurer and traveler, and I am. So, Shara, Shara, La Shara, Bal Shara, Jibini Mashara, Odzerchen Mashara, Om Maritsei Mum Swaha, Om Maritsei Mum Swaha, Om Maritsei Mum Swaha. Okay, now we can talk about strong emotions. You know, I came from former Soviet Union, the country which doesn't exist anymore. Now my country calls Ukraine. I came to US 20 years ago. I was raised as atheist. My religion was as atheist, and as many religions, I look down to all other religions. And I didn't come to spirituality because I was looking for something there. I came to spirituality because I had a sex addiction, or love addiction, or relationship addiction, I don't know. I cannot differentiate them, but that's what happened. It wasn't pleasant. Addiction is not good. So I started to look for something which can take me out of this circle of pleasure and suffering. And that's how I end up in Shivananda Yoga Ranch, upstate New York. I've seen people, I remember I see people sitting cross-legged and singing Om, and that's the moment I decide, this is a sect, I need to run out. And then, but thank God, they started doing exercise, and thank God to my family, which they teach me exercise are good for your health. That's how I stayed there. And, things went on. I started to practice yoga, then I found my main teacher, Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, Dzogchen teacher, Tibetan teacher, and slowly I start to pacify my strong emotion. I'm a woman of passion. I do many crazy things. If I do something, I do full. If I travel 3 years in a row. If I lead groups, I lead group down to Grand Canyon. If I work with passion, I walk on a fire. That's my practice right now, I walk on it. I do sexuality, I work with addiction, I am like all big scope, so yeah. And yes, so there was, I start to practice and start pacify myself. Shanti, 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 become pretty enlightened. Peace start to go through me. And at the same time, somehow my body start to become more and more heavy. And a lot of pains in the body. And I was ashamed actually, because why? People practice and do yoga and they look so magnificent, and I become more and more heavy and more pains, and I didn't understand what's going on. And then I started looking for more practice, transpersonal psychology and Tantra and this and that, and I learned how to dive in my body and unfold these pains. And these pains unfold into stories, visuals and stories, and some of stories were mine. Mine story of passion, of fear, of sadness, and some of the stories were not mine. There were a story of my family lineage, the stories of Holocaust, and the stories of fear, and the stories of pogroms back in Russia. And there were stories of this land, the story of shaman, despair and hate of shaman who lost his tribe, Native American shaman. And I didn't know how this story got into my body, that my female divine body like holding them and got sick. So that's how I started looking for more Tantra practices, the practices which work with extreme emotions, to be free, to somehow to deal with that. Here, I'm planning to share a couple of practices I do. One practice from Tibetan Buddhism, one practice from shamanic, and one practice from my school where I study right now, process-oriented psychology, which this is a school of psychology, yeah? Oh.
Yeah.
Arnie Mendel, yeah. I'm finishing a master with them, and I would say from many extreme things I did in my life, this was one of most extreme steps. And I'll tell you why later. So, Buddhist practice. You know, these extreme emotions in many patriarchal religions we're calling demons, and they are demons. The demon of desire, the demon of anger, and they're very scary and can destroy your life and life of others. That's true. But in Tibet, there were a woman, her name was Machik Labdron. She was a high-level practitioner and also pretty realized woman. I think she had 6 kids, I don't remember that, but I think 6. And she told, you know what, we are not going to fight demons. Because when you fight the demon become only stronger. And if you look at the history of some religion, we can find examples of how you fight the demon, but demon become only stronger. So she told, we are not going to fight them, we are going to feed them. And how she feeds the demon? This is a ritual practice, so the yogi takes a drum, small drum, and a bell, and say, hey, demons, spirits, all my karmic debts, come here, and I will offer you my body. I will go out of my body and transform myself in a goddess, and meanwhile, I'll cut my body into pieces and transform in any food you would like to eat. If you like to eat nectar or amrita, I'll transform my body in nectar and amrita. But some demons like to eat blood and, fear and bones and fat. So I'll transform your body in a food you like. Eat it. And it sounds pretty scary, but what happened? When these demons, when these extreme energies, when they come and eat yogi body, with the body they eat consciousness, and they get transformed with the consciousness and become alive. This is pretty ritualistic practice, the whole ritual going on, and people who practice this in Tibet, they call chod. And they were known as the holders of a big power, healing power, so when epidemic or something like scary happened, Chodpa will come and do this chod practice, and epidemic calm down. The spirits calm down. I did practice it a little bit. I worked for a couple of years. I worked in Costa Rica. I was the director of Addiction Holistic Rehabilitation Center. And Addiction Holistic Rehabilitation Center is not always a peaceful place. Sometimes we managed to make it a peaceful place, and I was so happy, we have this happy Om Yoga Center, and everybody was enlightened. And another time, you come into clinic, and you're like in a cage with the tigers. Everybody wants to eat everybody. There's like people attacking me, everybody, staff, clients. Oh my God, couldn't manage it, and I hate everybody as well. And then what we did, I had my colleague, doctor. It's good to work with the doctors sometimes, and he was a chod. He did this chod practice every day. So we leave the clinic, we go home, we take our drums, oh, hey, addiction spirit, come, come. There is our bodies, eat it. And you know, it worked. After the practice, I was able to go to clinic and pacify everybody. Worked pretty good. Nice. So, and it's pretty female practice, I would say. Isn't we female? We prepare food. Mm-hmm. Isn't we give our bodies? That's the female practice, how you deal with the strong emotions. And also, the another side, another practice, I practice shamanic practice. You know, when I was this ashamed with my passions, emotions, and everything, I found one more teacher, and this teacher is Earth. And people talk a lot in this conference about how Earth is generous, how it feeds us, how it protects us, but Earth is pretty strong, polarized, scary goddess as well. It has hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, etc., etc. And some Earth spirit could be scary. They can provoke wars or extreme sexuality, everything. That's how shaman believe. And how I see the role of the shaman, yeah, I worked a little bit with shamans. I was initiated in Siberian Tuva lineage, and my shaman father name is Nikolai Orjak. And how I see shamans, I see this village, right, and a forest. And village is unknown, and forest is unknown, the nature. And forest could be a source of scary spirits. And shaman, or witch, or Baba Yaga in Russian, lives on this border between forest and village. And when scary spirit comes and wants to jump on the village, and the spirit can provoke killing and sexuality and desire and whatever, maybe something people cannot digest and go crazy with it. So shaman, that moment, shaman puts the shaman clothes and tells the spirit, hey, come, 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 dance my body. Dance my body, sing my voice, enjoy me. I'm the shaman, I'm trained to do that. I'm trained with my liquid body and liquid voice, and I'll shape-shift into the spirit, and like, if it's angry spirit, it will go, and spirit satisfied. It has the body of a shaman and dance and become shaman alive. And shaman become a healer for the tribe. That's how it works, the shamanic practice. So it's also very feminine. You know, you give the body to the spirit and spirit dance it. Dance me, sing me. It's very, you know, I would say feminine style to deal with strong emotions. And I would like maybe end up my story with the third practice. I find the school, process-oriented psychology, and they combine knowledge of psychology, Jungian psychology, shamanic study, spiritual study, into pretty great founder of the school, Armand Mendel. And they have a great, very strong conflict facilitation practice. So I'm still studying this, and I'm pretty challenged because they tell if you do conflict facilitation, you should take your side if it's your own conflict, right? You should take your side and protect your side, but you also should be able to go to other side and totally, not only mentally understand it, but shape-shift, become the other, take the energy of the other, understand completely, so kind of shamanically shape shift. And it's a challenge, you know. It's very easy to, you know, if it's a conflict somewhere outside, say, oh, like, hey guys, like, don't kill each other, be good. But when it's conflict in me and I'm a passionate woman, and I take side right away, it's very hard. Maybe I'll tell personal story. A year and a half ago, I was studying in Portland at that time. And I woke up at night in a fire. Inner fire was so strong, it was burning inside. And, you know, I'm a menopausal woman, and I can have fires, but it was too much. It was too much, and I couldn't sleep, and I went on Facebook. And my Facebook, which is usually pretty cheerful, looked scary. It was blood and tongues and fire in it, because in my country of origin, old country Ukraine, the war started. And this is a crazy war. This is a war between Russia and Ukraine, and I don't know, it is like, it was the same culture and the same country, and everybody is intermarried, and when the war started, of course I took the part of Ukraine, like side of Ukraine. How this Russia, this Putin, I hate Putin, I hate this oppressor, I hate dictator, and Ukraine wants independence, and I take the side of Ukraine strongly and with a lot of anger. But then I see my Facebook, and there, you know, I'm connected to Russia even more than Ukraine right now, by business, by friends, transpersonal psychology community in Russia, and my business connected to Russia, adventure business. And some of my friends, some of my friends support Ukraine, some support Russia. It's such disconnection, and whole community go crazy. I'm also working with community back in New York. The whole community is divided, is separated. And it's very painful, and schizophrenia somehow. So now I need to, I took my side, and Ukraine, hey, Ukraine, now I need to take Russian side. It's not easy. When it's real, your passion, it's not easy. I remember I wasn't able to work for a while. Everything I did, my small seminars, working with family constellation, everything seems very small. Comparing this 5,000 people dying in my old country for nothing. And I went to a ayahuasca ceremony, and there's another strong practice, and ayahuasca asked me, I see you don't like Putin. No, I don't like Putin. I know Putin keeps all world in attention. I said, yes. So you must keep the tension. You must keep the peaceful tension. So that's how I was able to take the role of Putin and take the role of my Russian friends. And Russia is great. And Russia was always a leader of this region, and they know better, and this is a cultural leader, an economic leader, and it's not good for Ukraine to go out. And that's how I understand the pride and passion of Russia, and pride and passion of Ukraine. And I understand that under this war, the pride and passion goes on. So my favorite feeling, emotions, yeah? Strong emotions. And by ability to go both sides, then I can go and create open forum about this conflict and do something. So that's how I practice it in life. That's my story about strong emotion, and maybe have a couple of minutes more. Yeah, 10 minutes more. I have a message, also a message for women. Everybody gives a message. And I give the message, I thought, you know, there are passionate women here, and I'm passionate women, and passionate women always like passionate men. And for many, many thousand years, passionate men, what passionate man did? He went to war, and he killed as much enemy as he could, and he come back, and every woman tells, oh, he is a hero, and he has as much woman love, attention, body, services as he can, right? We cannot afford it anymore. Yeah, not anymore. We cannot afford it. We should stop it. And we still unconsciously sometimes, I think, support it. We should stop it. We should say, we women, with our body, with our attention, with our services, with our love, we support passion and passionate men and women, and we support art, we support sport, we support competition, we support conflict facilitation in any form. We don't support war anymore. No. And let's take this message and give it to our daughters. We don't support war with our bodies and with our feminine divine.